Hey, it's the Average Dan, and today we are going to replace the water pump on a 1984 Fleetwood Wilderness Camper. Let's get started. Alright, so here you can see the current state of the existing water pump. As you can see, we have a towel under part of it because it is, of course, leaking, prompting us to replace it. So we're going to take this one out, then hopefully it'll be a pretty easy process to get the new one in its place. The one thing that I would recommend, make sure your water pump is off. Make sure you open up the lines so there's not any pressure built up, because your goal is to minimize any water that's going to come out of this thing. So you don't want any pressure to kind of help that along. So let's take it out, and hopefully this will go smooth and according to plan. In place, just in case there's a little residual water in the pump. Try to minimize too much water going everywhere. We're going to, the new pump came with a new filter here, so we're going to take this off beyond the filter, and we'll get that whole thing replaced. So hopefully, just loosen that clamp up. See how much water we're dealing with here. None to speak of. And then we have water on the other side, which is a needed a little bit of persuasion. It does have a hand tightened thing on it here. Okay, the question is, there's definitely some water coming out of the back. I just want to make sure there's not a ton of it. Yeah, it's not bad. Just a little residual water inside the thing here. Okay, so that's the connection from the back. If you can see that. And then so we've got, in this case, we have black going to white and red going to blue. And we're going to disconnect those. Just keep in mind whether you're connected to power or not. You don't want to zap yourself. I actually am, so I'm just going to cheat and pull these apart without touching any metal. Of course, I should touch the metal because that might make this video go viral. Alright, so now there are 4 screws holding this down. And I have my drill here to hopefully make short work of those. Alright, so you can see that there's 2 screws on this side and there's 2 screws on the opposite side in the exact same place. So we're just going to remove those, and that'll allow us to take the old pump out. And I am using a longer Phillips bit here. It does make it go a little bit easier because you're not trying to fight for position with the end of the drill. And that separates the pump. So you got your in and out connection and your 2 wires and 4 screws, and that's all it takes to get this sucker out. Alright, and if you will notice that the connections, one is just a hose, and then the other one has a twist connection back there. The pump actually comes with an adapter that allows you to either screw on the connection or use a tubing like this. So I'll show you that in a minute, but just in case you're wondering if your connections differ from this, the stuff that comes with that pump does account for it. Alright, so using the pump that we took out as a guide, we're going to get this set up here on the counter with the new filter. We can grab the hose that exists for the short piece between the pump and the filter, and we'll get this configured just like this. As I mentioned, it comes with these adapters It'll allow you to screw it on because both ends on the pump itself are screw. So in our case, we're going to put one of these on the end out here, and we'll get that set up like so. And we're going to leave this as a screw connection because that's what we have underneath the sink. And we will get this puppy installed. Shouldn't be too bad at all. The one thing I do want to check, and I am curious about, and I can already tell that it's not quite the same, is the footprint of the holes. As you can see on mine, the footprint of the holes is clearly different. So, given it is a wood base floor down there, I'm just going to I'm going to offset it from the existing holes so I don't actually slip into one of them and create a bigger hole that doesn't want to hold a screw. I'll just offset it from where they were and screw it right to the floor. Shouldn't be a problem. You could potentially take this apart. I have taken this apart just to make sure that there's, that there wasn't anything wrong with it back when I cleaned out the filter. You can take it apart and maybe buy like a new O-ring or whatever, a new seal to refurbish it and fix it. But I figured since this is a 1984 camper, I don't really know specifically when this pump is from, and the fact that a new pump is like $60, it seems like a really good investment to just go ahead and buy the new pump. That way everything is new and you don't have to worry about the next thing going. All right, so I started to go down the path of putting this together just like the old one was, but I realized that this is even better than the old one because I don't need to bridge this gap, because the actual thing that they gave us here has the screw on right on it. So I can just put this right on the output and that's perfect. Save me the trouble. It's wasting all that time trying to do that, but this guy will go. Let's see where this tightens though. Guess we can put that on there right like that. And then we'll put this end on here because we do have to connect to. We don't even need the little short piece to do anything. And that's handy. So I get. It's always nice to find an easier way to do things. A lot of times you're doing this kind of work and you run into something that you hadn't accounted for. In this case, oops. There we go. Get that on there. And we are good to go. Alright, so I don't leave a lot of metal exposed on these wires, so I'm just going to strip them down a little bit. Give them nice fresh ends here. I also cut power to the camper so I can twist these on without trying to zap myself. Alright, let's get this puppy installed. Grab our screws, head back under the sink. Alright, so since we're going to be creating new holes when we secure the pump, my only goal here is to align this new pump in such a way that it reaches the semi-rigid connection back there. So I am going to get that hooked up and use it as my guide of where to secure this guy here. So we want this in here. Alright, so we want to connect this to this, which of course is easier said than done, especially when you're kind of doing it blindly here. Flip it over so I can see better. And it wants to get started slightly crooked. There we go. There's the ticket. After you get it started, you can flip it around where it needs to go. Try to get that as tight by hand as possible. We're gonna set that off center a little bit from okay. And feel free to curse like a truck driver while you're doing this. Just make sure small kids are not around. I have the benefit of stopping the camera every once in a while, just to let out my inner demons when things don't go quite the way you want them to. It's a good stress reliever. We're going to go ahead and just drill this, screw this thing right down to the floor where it sits. Okay, 2 out of the 4 are done. Alright, she is secure. I felt a little more water out on the floor back here. Make sure I get rid of all the water before I turn the pump back on, or I'll have no idea whether I'm leaking or not. Then we will turn the power back on, test this bad boy out, and hopefully everything goes according to plan and there are no leaks, and we will be done. That's nice and clean looking. Wrap that up with this one. Alright, so this is the moment of truth. We're going to go ahead and turn on the pump and see if we have any leaks, and hopefully we will be good to go. Let's fire this puppy up. Now, just as an aid to me, I'm going to put a paper towel under this, just to see if we get any water at all. See what happens here. Well, she's on. Now, as long as your faucets are closed, she should build up power and stop. I like what I'm seeing so far. I'm going to run one of the faucets. Make sure that all looks good. We have good pressure and that it's able to readjust and get back up to pressure. Okay. So we have water. Pump is running. Pump stopped pretty quickly. Let's pull out the paper towel. See if there's any drips. No. That is excellent. And then we're going to take the paper towel, put it around the connection, see if there's any signs of water on it. And the paper towel is dry. Ladies and gentlemen, we have successfully installed the water pump. Pat yourselves on the back and go have a beer. Alright, well, I think that wraps it up for today. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, I would appreciate it if you click the subscribe button. And if you'd like to be alerted when future videos are released, I would ask you to also click that bell notification icon. That'll make sure you receive an alert every time a video is uploaded. Like the video, share your comments, good, bad, or otherwise. I'm always open for feedback to improve the channel. And until next time, this is The Average Dan. Thanks.